Hey everybody, Avi Abelo here from IsraelOnWire.com, the eternal and ancestral homeland of the Jewish people here in Israel, sitting in the undivided capital of the Jewish people for time immemorial, Jerusalem. If you would have told me that I would be doing a video right now talking about the assassination of former Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin back in the early 1990s, I would have told you you're crazy. I wouldn't have thought why I'd be doing a video about this, about investigating his murder, his assassination, and that it would be tied into an issue of academic freedom because a professor, an expert on Islam and Middle East studies, who is world-renowned for his expertise and is brought on Muslim, Arabic television all the time to speak in Arabic because of his knowledge and expertise about Israel, Islam, the Middle East. If you would have told me that I'd be doing a video about this, I would have said you're nuts. No way. Okay, so first of all, everybody, as you know, big tech, the big social media companies, do not want the videos we work on telling the truth about Israel and the Jewish people to get out there and be seen. So we are always working to try our best to make it happen. If you support the work we are doing and the videos I do, getting the truth out there, please, if you could just click on the link I'll be putting below in order to donate and help us ensure that the video work we do with the truth about Israel and the Jewish people get out there and get seen. Okay, and most importantly, if you like what we do, share our videos. So now back to the topic at hand. Professor Mordechai Kedar last night was at a rally in support of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu because of the witch hunt against Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, all the legal cases brought up against him by the Attorney General's office. Again, that's a whole video in and of itself to delve into that issue and why it is a witch hunt and to explain all the latest news on that front. But putting that aside, every week there is a weekly rally in support of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. And last night, Professor Mordechai Kedar, a professor who works at Bar Ilan University in the Tel Aviv area, he spoke at the rally. I did not hear his full address, but as part of his address, he said straight out that an investigation must be opened up regarding who actually killed former Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin, the assassination attempt, the successful assassination of former Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin, who was the one who brought in the Oslo Accords, right? It was actually forced upon him by Yitzhak Rabin, and it was actually forced upon him by Shimon Peres and his partner Yossi Beilin to push forward that horrendous and suicidal peace process, which was about destroying Israel and giving guns to terrorists that we all yelled about back then that it was a mistake. But Yitzhak Rabin, who was prime minister at the time, went forward with it because he was pushed into a corner by Shimon Peres and Yossi Beilin. In any case, it ended up with his assassination. There is a man sitting in jail today, Yigal Amir, for assassinating former Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin. And for whatever reason, Professor Mordechai Kedar last night brought up that he has information, and he's known about this information for a long time, and other people also are in the know, that it's somebody else who actually assassinated former Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin. Okay, I'm not going to go into that topic right now. That's a whole topic in and of itself to unfold the different layers and information there. But the important information is right now, because Professor Kedar said that statement, he is now being threatened with punishment by the university that employs him. They've already punished him. They already told him that he can no longer represent the university, and he was supposed to speak at a conference next week in South America, I think, and it's now been taken away from him, for him being able to speak there as a representative of the university, and he is being invited to a disciplinary council at the university where we don't know what will happen, but obviously the potential of some sort of punishment. And Professor Kedar has come out publicly to say that if he is invited to a disciplinary committee, he will resign, basically expressing that there is no need for a disciplinary committee. And if you are calling me out for something I said for this disciplinary committee, then I'm no longer going to teach here. And he threatened to resign if that actually happens. We don't know. I don't know yet if it happened or it hasn't happened. What's the issue here? The issue here is a blatant double standard. Do you know how many anti-Israel, anti-Zionist professors teach in Israeli universities who actually use their classrooms to push forward their anti-Israel agenda to Israeli students and to foreign students? There are programs at Hebrew University where there are professors who are anti-Israel. Some are Israeli, some Jewish, and some foreigners that actually in the classroom push forward anti-Israel agendas, curriculums, syllabuses, or syllabi, if that's what it's called, right? Why? Why, for heaven's sake, are professors who are actually in the classroom, anti-Israel, anti the government, anti the country that they are blessed to live in, be citizens of, and teach in, and have the freedom to teach whatever they want, including messages and curriculum and syllabi that are anti-Israel and spreading lies and hatred against Israel in the classroom in Israeli universities? These people are also allowed to go abroad and support the boycott industry against Israel, actually supporting, and there are plenty of Israeli professors who are signed on documents that support the BDS, boycott, divestment, sanctions against Israel campaign, where in a sense they are cutting the branch from when they sit on, because these boycott, divestment, sanctions campaigns include boycotting working with Israeli universities, boycott joint investment programs, boycott joint programs with colleges. And here, these professors who are anti-Israel taking explicit steps against Israel, against the country of the legitimacy of the country of which they teach in universities, and nothing happens to them. No disciplinary hearings for any of them. They're all allowed to teach their vitriol against Israel, their own country that they're teaching in, or foreigners teaching in Israel. They're all allowed to do that with no punishment, no disciplinary hearings whatsoever. And yet, here we have Professor Mordechai Kedar saying something. Whether you agree or disagree does not make a difference right now. It's not about that issue. It's about the fact that because he said something which basically drives a knife into the narrative in the accepted narrative in Israel, which was very much used against the right. The left in Israel used this against the right for decades to push down the right in Israel. Right, they always made the whole right-wing camp feel guilty by association because the person who's sitting in jail is a religious right-wing Jewish Israeli, Yigal Amir, who studied at, ironically enough, this university, Bar Ilan. The whole right wing was painted as if it was complicit in Yitzhak Rabin's assassination, and it was used to delegitimize the right politically and socially. It was a very, very hard time in Israel for years after the Rabin assassination if you were a right-wing religious person. It was very, very ugly society for those years. Okay? So for whatever reason, because Professor Kedar says something that goes against this narrative, all of a sudden he can be allowed to be punished. This is a blatant double standard where we see a left-wing cultural political elite hold a double standard, and here we're talking about the academic community, where nothing is done against professors who are blatantly anti-Israel, even in the classroom, even grading their papers and punishing students who write things that they disagree with ideologically. So therefore, if you want to get good grades, you have to basically write what the professor wants to hear on an ideological level. This is all proven, documented, researched. An organization that's been working on this is an organization called Im Tirtzu. They've been working on college campuses trying to help the more conservative, nationalist, proud Jewish students on Israeli college campuses be able to stand up and document those professors who are anti-Israel and who take out their ideology against students who are proud Jewish Israelis or proud Israelis, even if you're not Jewish. So Im Tirtzu has all that documentation. I will try to look for the links and provide them. But here we see a blatant double standard where the left allows left-wing anti-Israel professors to get away with literally cutting the branch upon which they stand on, supporting the boycott movement, which includes boycotting Israeli universities that they teach at. And yet here, Professor Mordechai Kedar is having a disciplinary hearing and already punished by being forbidden to represent the university abroad because of something he said that goes against the consensus. We'll have to go into this whole Yigal Amir Yitzhak Rabin assassination another time. All I can tell you is the following. Google Champagne, Avishai Raviv. There are plenty of open questions from the assassination of Yitzhak Rabin, including a man named Avishai Raviv, whose code name was Champagne. He was a Secret Service agent who recruited Yigal Amir. That's what I'm going to leave you with right now. A big open question about a lot of open questions about the assassination. For everything people think they know, there is so much information that all of us do not know, and unfortunately, powers maybe don't want us to know. Who knows? Maybe Yigal Amir actually killed and assassinated former Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin. Maybe not, even though he did do something wrong. He was involved in it. He was there holding a gun, shooting the Prime Minister. So he was definitely involved in it. But to what level and who was really if there were other people pulling the strings, including Secret Service agents, and who hired them, because just Google Avishai Raviv, codename Champagne. It is not a simple issue with straight answers. Okay, so it is totally okay to call for an investigation. Again, maybe it'll come up with the same conclusions that we already know, but not certain, especially since there is the official investigation that the government did do on this, the Shamgar Committee, I think it was called. All of the materials for that investigation are secret. They are under secret lock and key, not to be published since those investigations more than 2 decades ago. So if so much information is secret and the public cannot know about it, and only the people who sat on the committee or were involved in the committee research know about it, there are plenty of secrets out there that we don't know to really come to the conclusion of what really happened, who really was involved, who was behind and helping or pulling the strings of Yigal Amir. What did Yigal Amir actually do? What did others do? There are so many open questions, and Professor Mordechai Kedar should not be punished because he calls for opening a true investigation and for all those secret documents to be allowed to be published and used so the public knows the whole truth, whether it concludes the same conclusion, but there are so many questions out there to allow for an investigation to be open. That's all he was calling for, and yet he's been punished. Where is the academic freedom? Or are we seeing once again a leftist control of the narrative, of the discourse, of academic freedoms, that really only if you're on the left do you have academic freedom, but if you go against the consensus of the left, then you are shut down. All right, everyone, that's it for today's update of happenings with the truth behind the headlines here in Israel. Signing off, Avi Abelo here for Israel Unwired. Again, if you support the work we do and the videos we put out, please show your support. Help us ensure that our videos get out there and are seen by as many people as possible, and just click on the link below in order to donate and help us do everything we're doing. Signing off from the ancestral homeland of the Jewish people, here in the eternal and undivided capital, Jerusalem. Thanks for watching, everyone. Shalom. Blessed to be a Jew. Blessed to be living in the homeland.